Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS news for Monday, November 11. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is advising the public that it continues to carry out testing of samples for the dengue virus that are sent to the National Public Health Laboratory. The ministry was responding to concerns of the shortage of dengue rapid test kits in the private healthcare system. In a statement, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa-McKenzie notes that the rapid test kits must be interpreted with caution, as the timing of dengue tests are key to the detection of the virus or the immune response caused by dengue. The Chief Medical Officer indicates further that the ministry does not use these kits for testing due to the considerable variability in the sensitivity and specificity of the kits. The Ministry of Health says the treatment of dengue fever is not dependent on a positive or negative test, and that all persons who display symptoms of dengue are to be treated and managed according to the symptoms that are present. Dr. Bisesa-McKenzie says all precautions must be taken, and patients and their caregivers should be advised appropriately to look for warning signs of severe dengue and take the necessary action. The dengue virus is contracted through bites from the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and persons are being advised to search for and destroy mosquito breeding sites. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the states of public emergency continue to produce a downward trend in major crimes in the affected parishes. The Commissioner was addressing a press briefing last Thursday for increased joint police presence for the upcoming Christmas season in town centers and commercial districts. Commissioner Anderson says Clarendon and St. Catherine are seeing a 55% reduction in murders and 51% in shootings prior to the SOE. As for Westmoreland, St. James, and Hanover, murders are down 35% and shootings 40%. The decline continues in South St. Andrew with 22% in murders and 32% in shootings. In addition, 5 handguns, 84 rounds of ammunition, and a hand grenade were recovered last week. Commissioner Anderson says members of the Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB, have been deployed in SOE areas to assist with investigations on gangs and to target where the guns are. He says the 8 weeks of intense security measures will focus on public order and safety, violent crimes, and robberies.
We're going from this point forward to the end of the year, not only to secure our city and our town centers, our commercial areas for between now and the end of the year, but also as we go into next year, we want to set the conditions that we can have a successful year next year in terms of the safety of our public.
The Jamaica Defense Force and the United States military continue to strengthen cooperation for national and regional security. Chief of Defense Staff Lieutenant General Rocky Meade says transnational crimes such as trafficking of drugs, guns, and money laundering are areas of high priority. He says the JDF has benefited from the relationship in its efforts to cauterize organized crime networks and their impact.
We're getting a lot of training support from the United States and also equipment support. We've been working very closely together, not just with the U.S. Southcom and agencies like JIS South, but also with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. We have a lot of collaboration. We share information and we work jointly in trying to counter the illicit trafficking from the organized criminal networks.
In addition to the training and education, intelligence and information sharing is fundamental to meeting those challenges. That's something that we do daily through our personnel exchanges and some of the networks that we have to track the flow of illicit goods and the information associated with that.
Both Lieutenant General Meade and United States military official in the region, Admiral Craig Fowler, were speaking at a press briefing last Wednesday at the JDF headquarters in Kingston. Phase 1 of the Wakefield to Bunkers Hill pipe replacement project in Trelawney is expected to commence in early 2020. This follows Cabinet's approval of a $69 million contract to Construction Solutions Limited for the undertaking. The work is expected to be completed within 8 months.
The pipeline will replace the old transmission main and distribution pipeline, which has reduced service levels to consumers and adversely affected roads in the area.
Mr. Samuda was speaking at last Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing. He said replacing the pipeline will reduce the National Water Commission's non-revenue water level and also allow for more potable water to be available to customers in Friendship, Bunkers Hill and sections of Wakefield. Also coming out of the press briefing is approval for the acquisition of 91 acres of land at Western Park, Brooks Common, Clarendon, at a cost of $75 million.
This is to facilitate the regularization of informal settlers who currently occupy the property. There are actually approximately 380 households on the property.
A further update of Cabinet's decision was to go ahead for construction of a single-story office building to house the Hanover Parish offices of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA. A $108.9 million contract has been granted to Morris Hill Limited to carry out the work. In addition, approval was given for the purchase of 3 properties at lots 2, 3, and 4 in Huntley, St. Anne at a cost of $19.5 million to relocate the Brownstown tax office.
The current facility is inadequate for the staff complement and the 150 communities that are served.
And finally, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, JFB, will be getting 400 pieces of protective clothing to bolster the capacity of firefighters to adequately respond to emergencies. Cabinet has approved the award of a $1 million contract for the supply of the bunker gears for the firefighters. The contract has been awarded to Bell Safety. The JFB is an agency of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. The role of the Jamaica Fire Brigade is to protect life and property from fire or other disasters within the island and its territorial seas. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.